Uh-huh.
defensively? Is there a player in your mind that stuck out since you've been boots on the ground in training camp?
Minkah hasn't been here for a couple of days. He had some issues he had to deal with. Um, but the magic of Minkah when he comes back, um, what he brings to the table, and I'm really studying Minkah right now because of Ivan, my son. So I told
Mm.
Ivan, man, we really got to watch a lot of tape on Minkah because I'm really seeing what he doing live in person. Uh, he makes everything calm back there. And what I mean back there on the whole defense. Oh, so from the linebackers, don't worry about the front folk because Cam gonna take care of that. Outside linebackers, you got TJ and Alex. But we got a few new pairs of inside linebackers, and when Minkah wasn't here, everything was cool. Everybody was professional. But when Minkah came back, it's just like a calming presence. And I was like, golly. I mean, you could tell from the offensive guys, the wide receivers, everybody knew Minkah was back. So they had to be on their P's and Q's. So that's what I'm looking at Minkah like, man, and just listening to him talk, not only on the field and able to anticipate Mark, but even when he's not in, he's making calls, he's helping young guys, he's talking to himself, he's reading the plays. So I'm like, okay, this why this dude's so special. And then when he get in for his reps, he never panics. It's it's like drinking tea. You drink a certain tea, tea makes you calm. It's like, dang, that's that Minkah effect right there. So just looking at Minkah, man, and seeing how he move, anticipates, never use it. We call it wasted energy. And for Minkah, he ain't wasting no part. Like his anticipation, his football IQ, Coach T like to call above the neck. His above the neck football IQ is just it's unreal. So that's why I see why he's been hitting these all pros, why these scouts and executives and these players been calling him the number one safety in the league.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes about the Steelers franchise because I didn't even realize he was gone. That it's like, oh, he returns from
Right,
an
right,
excused absence, and it was like, wow, okay, totally understandable. You got to take care of your family, and I expect another big season from him. Do you
right.
notice that the front seven can play more aggressively in a different style because they have the peace of mind knowing he's back there to cover the back end of the defense? If I want to play more aggressively up front, or I want to shoot a gap that I'm not normally supposed to. When you say he's calm back there and he helps the other defensive players, what do you mean by that, Ike?
It's almost like a cheat code, Mark. It's like um, if I mess up, I know Minkah got my back. So it's Minkah and the front seven. I mean, from the linebackers on back to the secondary guys.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So for corner or linebackers, it's like you might have an old moment, and then Minkah just come save the day. Because that's just what Minkah do. So when Minkah is back there, uh, you as a player is more relaxed. It's like having Troy. Like, man, if I need a play, I know somebody. I know Troy gonna make a play. If I need a play, I know Minkah gonna make a play. Man, if I mess up one time, I know Minkah gonna have my back. And it's just it's just that kind of feeling. It's just what I see. So, the calming part. What I'm talking about, Mark, is understanding when you see when you know Minkah is on the field. It's like, dang, man. I hate to say this because I know it's not a lot of pressure on Minkah, but you just see like when Minkah is on that field, guys are very much more confident and very much more relaxed because of what he is, and that's an all-pro safety.
One Ike Taylor looks pretty relaxed in this picture. Are
You
you
feel
two
me?
exchanging words here? Like, what's going on here when you and Minkah are just chilling on the sidelines? You having a conversation like we are right now? Or are you just kind of taking it all in? What's going on?
Nah, Minkah and I, man, we talk about a little bit of everything. Football, a little bit of life, but mostly it's just like football on the field. So I ask him what he's seeing, what he not seeing, what the hell he thinking. So just picking his brain, to be honest with you. But he's just Mr. Consistent. Mark, you know what you're gonna get out of Minkah. What's that? A play or two. You know, whether it's game winning or whether if the Pittsburgh Steelers need one, we need one. You know what you're getting out of Minkah. So uh, the dude just we went all in to get him a couple of years ago, and since we went all in, he's been nothing but a blessing to the organization. You know, Pro Bowls all day since he stepped. Um, used to be Hines, but now it's Acrisure Stadium. Since he stepped on Acrisure Stadium, man, Minkah has just blessed the Pittsburgh Steelers with all his playmaking ability.
Yeah, I hope the front seven can remain stout, Ike, because we saw in that 2021 season when he led the team in tackles, he's capable of doing it. But as a center fielder, as a ball hawk, that's when he's at his best, causing turnovers. And certainly he got back to that last
Right,
season.
right.
And that's something where that wasn't really even in his control the year before in 2021 when Steelers couldn't stop the run. And so they needed him to make plays in the box. And I just know that his abilities as a safety, I mean, he can do both, but he's best when, and it's amazing too, because I think about it from this standpoint. Like, he's demonstrated this ability to do this enough as an all-pro safety that opposing teams, I promise you, game plan for him, and he still is making plays and still causing turnovers. And it's the turnover creation, because you win the turnover battle. This isn't a news flash, like, more often than not, you're going to win football games.
Yeah, you high percentage when you win a turnover battle. Minkah just, I mean, Minkah just reminds me of Troy. To be honest with you, just a different form
Yeah.
of Troy. You know, Troy was that wild Tarzan Tasmanian devil back there, just making plays, whether it was one hand catches 50 yards down the field against Tennessee, or whether he's just coming up and jumping over the center against Cincinnati, timing the snap. So Troy did something amazing, like how how we look at George Pickens and seeing all these crazy acrobatic catches. That's how Troy was. But on the defensive side, you just looked at Troy like, man, how in the heck you do this? Same way with Minkah, you know, not as acrobatic as Troy and George, who I just named, but the consistency. He's a closer. Like Minkah is a real live closer. You know, if you like baseball, man, you bring in the closing pitcher, and there go your 8 strikeouts that fast. From the seventh all the way to the ninth or whatever. If we're
Yeah.
going longer than that, and that's Minkah, man. Minkah just he's gonna make a play. He's gonna close a game out for you. He did it. He did it against Atlanta last year.
You're in my
Closed them
brain,
out.
Ike.
I feel you. He did it against Atlanta last year, so that's just what he do. So
You mentioned Atlanta and then the Bengals game in the
in the
opening week of
Bengal
the
game,
season too, where it's
I mean,
just
he
like
won that game on his own. Minkah won
straight
that
up.
game because I think he had a pick six, a block punt, a block field goal, and something else. Like Minkah had a trifecta that game, so Minkah won that game single handedly by himself.